You're listening to Cinematic Adventures, proud member of the Misfit Faction Media Network.
Good morning, Vietnam!
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Badges? We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
You make me want to be a better man.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
He's looking at you, kid.
I've always depended on the kindness of strangers.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Would you be shocked if I put on something more comfortable?
You know how to whistle, don't you, Steve? You just put your lips together and blow.
I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cinematic Adventures. We're happy to be here for all you out there who are fans of our podcast. We're back for our first by ourselves episode in 2 weeks. We ventured off into a little crossover last week for, I don't know, some film that came out that everybody's making a big deal out of. It's called Zack Snyder's Justice League. I don't know if anyone's ever seen it.
It's the number one
Paul, have you seen it?
It's the number one trending thing on...
What's trending? I mean, really? Trending?
Not us.
No, I didn't think so. Well, obviously, Paul, you are my sidekick. You are my best friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and who are you?
I don't know. Who
you
am
didn't
I?
introduce yourself, buddy.
My name is Sean.
You are Sean.
I am Sean.
I'm so excited.
You are?
A little bit.
Okay.
Because the tide has turned tonight.
Oh, really?
In that we've done a couple of movies that I am not a big fan of.
Yes.
That you enjoy.
Yes.
And now we're kind of...
Yes.
I wouldn't say I'm a big fan of tonight's movie, but
definitely you're more into it than I am, but you know, we'll get to that. Hope everybody out there that is listening to us, as you know, you can hear us on the go at Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, and of course Podbean. So any of those you are able to listen to our podcast at any time. Paul, you got some news for us for upcoming episodes.
Heck yeah, I got some news for us. So one thing that Cinematic Adventures does better than our sister podcast, the Multiverse Fancast, is that we're actually planned out for the next 3 months.
We are.
Which is awesome. So just so you guys know, we are finishing Monster Month. Next week, we're doing it a little bit differently because...
scheduling is a little tough. I keep doing it. Godzilla vs. Kong is coming out to theaters on Wednesday the 31st. So obviously we're not going to be able to record right after seeing that movie. So we're going to record our episode on the Friday, the 2nd of April, but release it literally right away. This way it's right there. You know, you don't have to wait too long.
So you'll actually get 2 episodes from us in 1 week.
Basically.
And that's going to lead us into April, which is a month that I'm excited for.
I've been waiting. We've been waiting for this since we started this podcast, since our very first episode when we did our spoof/satire episode, and we said it at the beginning. We were like, ladies and gentlemen, there is no Mel Brooks movies on this podcast.
Yes. So
he deserves his own, I think we said episode, or I don't know if we said 1 month, but he deserves his own month, possibly even more than that.
Oh, it's probably more than
Probably going to be more than that.
So next month, April, is going to be Mel Brooks month, and not only are we going to pick, we're going to pick 4 Mel Brooks movies.
We're going to do 4 of our favorites, and then obviously at a later date, we'll get to the rest of them at another time, but we got special news for this month.
So joining us for that series of podcasts, finally returning to the podcast scene from one of our one of our partnerships on the Misfit Faction is from Bibliophiles Assemble is Melanie. So she's actually going to be joining us for 4 episodes, which is awesome. So
looking forward to that.
Yeah, if you guys are looking a little bit more for her, you can find her on our Instagram, which is Bibliophiles Assemble. You'll also find our Instagram, which is brand new and been a lot of fun so far, which is the Misfit Faction.
I should probably sign up for Instagram.
Probably should. I do a lot of memes on it.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of good ones.
All
I'll show you
righty.
today's later. But and then following that in May. getting ahead of myself or behind myself. I don't know.
Yeah, it's fine.
May 4th, Star Wars Day, we are going to do Star Wars Month.
Oh.
And we are going to be doing the original trilogy.
I thought we were talking about the new trilogy.
You get out of here. Even Disney's not talking about the new trilogy. But we're going to do the first 3 weeks. We're going to do the original trilogy.
Yes.
Well, we might even have a special guest star.
Maybe.
From one of our...
it's not Mark Hamill.
Oh, God, imagine. From one of our affiliates, which will...
Affiliates? It sounds so professional.
Well, you know what it is?
I love it.
For those of you guys who aren't sure, we're part of a network called the Misfit Faction.
Yes, we are.
You can find our website, themisfitfaction.com. And we have a lot of people, a lot of friends, a lot of, close friends even, who do creative stuff. And maybe they're not ready to be part of a network or they just don't have the time. So we have a lot of friends that do their own thing, and it's always a fun time to collaborate and corroborate.
Good
and
words.
Other words that begin with C.
There you go. Communicate.
Cohabitate. I mean, I cohabitate with Bibliophiles Assemble.
You do?
I do.
Nice.
But so it's always a great chance to get other people. So
the next 2 months are going to be fun.
And I'm pretty sure we said for June is going to be our sports month, I think.
Didn't officially say that, but I know that's a possibility.
I think that would be fun.
It's fun.
Yeah. Especially with Mighty Ducks coming out. Yeah,
I watched the first episode. I it is what it is. I liked it. I enjoyed it,
but yeah, so I think that's really all the news that we have. I do want to also mention, I know Sean already did, but our Zack Snyder Justice League collaboration with the Multiverse Fancast is up and running. Traditionally, when it comes time for comic book movies, we kind of veer towards multiverse for that, much to Sean's chagrin sometimes.
That's fine.
But yeah, so be on the lookout. I think our next crossover with them might possibly be
Black Widow.
Oh yeah, Black Widow. But I was thinking the next one might be Scott Pilgrim.
Fair enough. For anyone out there who doesn't know, they are re-releasing Scott Pilgrim.
10 years.
Scott Pilgrim back to theaters in, when is it coming out?
At the end of April.
End of April. So it's really 10 years.
10 years.
That was 2000. I thought it was earlier than 2011. That movie came out.
But that's another fun just study.
I just did not care for that movie the first time you showed it to me, but watching it, I think I watched it during obviously the lockdown because what else?
It came onto Netflix.
What else was there to watch? I watched anything I could, and I was just laughing. It's really a funny movie. It really is. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing that because I don't think I saw that with you in theaters.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, you showed it to me once it came out on DVD. So,
but it's funny. The one thing we always quote in this house is when Scott jumps out the window. You know what? He just left. Yeah, that's one of my favorite movie quotes of all time.
That's a good one.
Well, that movie, and we'll talk about it at the time, but that movie's really defined by the cast.
Oh yeah, Michael Cera. Like him, you don't like him, obviously, but
at least in this movie, he's designed to not be likable.
Well, it's also the role was perfect for him. So I mean, it was just perfect casting for him, and then seeing. Who else? Yeah, Kieran Culkin, I thought stole the movie. He was hysterical as Wallace. So Wallace again,
and of course your girlfriend.
Oh, Anna Kendrick.
You have such a thing for Anna Kendrick.
Do love Anna Kendrick.
How can you not like Anna Kendrick?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I see. I never saw the Twilight.
I forget she's in it.
She's in the first one, I think.
She's in a couple of them.
Oh, okay. So I never watched that, but the first movie I saw her in was Up in the Air with George Clooney, and I thought she was great.
Oh my god. What did I do? Oh, Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates.
I gotta watch that.
You have to watch that movie.
Watch that
that's a movie. That movie, and she plays against type in it.
Yeah,
yeah, which is really
with
fun.
Aubrey Plaza, who's another one who's.
Yeah. God.
And wow. I wasn't a Park and Rec fan either, so I don't know.
I
didn't really watch that either. So,
but what movie are we talking about tonight?
What movie are we talking about? So we've kept it hush hush because
we wanted to copy
their marketing plan. We are going to be talking about the 2008 film Cloverfield. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Monster Month, big monster attacking New York City. So,
it was either this or Pacific Rim.
And I was like, I'd rather watch Cloverfield. So that says a lot right there.
I've never seen Pacific Rim.
Me neither.
Yeah,
so
there's that.
At least I had seen this movie. I just had to rewatch it.
And I think Cloverfield fits more into the genre that we're going to be discussing.
I agree.
So, yeah, I remember seeing the trailer. The trailer was the thing about Cloverfield, and we'll talk about it more towards the end, but it's such a unique property in that nobody knew what it was.
No. I mean, they purposely they kept it hidden. The poster was just the poster of the Statue of Liberty, with no head.
Did you know apparently they had to make the head bigger in the movie because the Statue of Liberty's head's not nearly as big as people think it is?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, a lot of movies make it seem a lot bigger. But
and the trailer, as I recall, did you see the You saw like the explosion.
You see the explosion and the Statue of Liberty's head.
Yeah, and that's all you saw.
And then it was just a date.
Yeah, so it was they purposely kept it very hush hush. So you could say they lived up to expectations. It didn't live up to expectations. I tend to agree with the didn't live up for me, but that's just me.
That's just you.
That is just me. The movie made $175 million, so obviously it's just me.
On like a $12 million budget.
Yeah, no, crazy.
Yeah, it did. Really. So. I also like though when smaller budget films explode. Like say what you will about paranormal. This is a very paranormal activity.
Well, this
type
is
movie.
that found footage craze that we were going through a little bit back then with this paranormal. I know it's almost 10 years earlier, but Blair Witch, Chronicle.
Let's talk about that really quick before we jump into our break.
Mm-hmm.
Found footage. Thoughts?
I'm indifferent to it. I'm not. It's a gimmick. It was that gimmick along with the 3D that was going on, in the late 2000s. So once you do something and it's successful, everybody has to do it. So now again, Blair Witch was the first back in 98, 99. And again, I'm not 100% on every single found footage movie, but I know that the big ones, really you didn't get another one for 10 years until this came out. And then you had Paranormal Activity, you had Chronicle. So there was a little stretch there where it felt like, oh, what was that? There was another, it's like a teen comedy that they did that was a found footage movie.
Project X.
Project X. So it just, like 3D, it gets done a million times and then you get sick of it and then goes away for a while. And then somebody else brings it back and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing.
How much I liked it.
So I respect it. It was done well, but it was not something I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable.
My thing about found footage is if it makes sense, I enjoy it. So Blair Witch Project made sense. They were a filming crew out there filming a documentary. It makes sense that they would have cameras all the time.
This movie made sense.
This movie made sense up until the monster actually attacked. There's no reason Homeboy HUD should be carrying this thing around.
Camera around.
It's like a big camera. Or no, I think it's a small handheld.
Yeah.
But so that bothered me. Chronicle made sense because the kid used the camera as a lens to talk to because he almost like a diary.
Yeah.
And also he had superpowers, so they would float around him. So he wasn't carrying a camera around. Like most people would drop a camera and run. Project X made sense because that's how kids are. That was when the viral stuff really started. Paranormal Activity made more sense when they had security cameras instead. You know the movie where it makes the most sense?
What?
A Haunted House 1 and 2.
Oh my God.
We got to do those movies one day.
Tell the dog is white. Tell the dog is white.
Those movies were so bad, but I love them.
The first one was actually... It harkened back to the original Scary Movie.
I thought the second one was funnier.
Really?
I was peeing myself in that opening scene with the dog. Oh, man. But, but that's also another great example of, hey, people chuckled at this part in the first movie.
Yeah.
Let's make it more raunchy.
There you go.
I won't say that. That's a family-friendly
thing.
No. But, so I think, found footage is really, it can work, but I just...
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So we're going to take our first little break here before we get into the plot and the cast of this film. So we will be right back after these messages.
I'll deal with you later. Stay put. I'll be back in a flash.
Back in a flash. Wow. Does he say that often?
Too often.
And we're back. So we're going to delve into the development of this movie. So as many of you probably know, Cloverfield was produced by J.J. Abrams, who was big at the time for coming off of the TV show Lost. And I believe he had directed Mission Impossible 3 by this time. So this was before the new Star Trek came out. I don't remember if he was probably filming Star Trek at the time.
I don't remember. But I know there was a lot of speculation that this project had something to do with Lost. Once people saw J.J. Abrams' name, because it was Lost time.
Yeah, everybody. This was before Lost had its I either loved it or hated it. Last season.
Did you ever watch it?
No.
No.
They're on the island. They're off the island. Who can follow that?
Can't wait to do that movie.
Can't wait.
That's a good one.
So J.J. Abrams started conceptualizing basically a new monster movie because he wanted an American monster. He didn't want Godzilla, and he didn't want to do King Kong. So he was greenlit by Paramount Pictures secretly, and it was produced by J.J. Abrams' company Bad Robot. They filmed in Los Angeles, and the project basically was under many different working titles, ridiculous working titles. And then obviously, as we discussed, the viral marketing campaign just blew up. It was you first saw the trailer at the beginning of Transformers. They did a second one attached to Beowulf. Basically, so many limited details about the film prior, so everybody was speculating what it was. And then finally it was released on January 18th, and we saw what it was. So we're going to delve into the cast. Paul's going to talk about them, and then we'll get into the plot, and then our thoughts after that.
So the cast is relatively small.
Yes.
It's very small, actually. So we're going to start off with, obviously, some of the more well-known first. We have Lizzie Kaplan as Marlena. Lizzie Kaplan, who's another actress who really kind of exploded. At least we knew her. The funny thing was, we recognized her immediately because we knew her from Smallville. Well, it's funny you say that because we have a different super alumni also on this list.
We do.
We'll get to that in a second. But
right.
Lizzie Kaplan plays Marlena, kind of the not really a friend, but kind of friend in the group, the little outsider type thing. We have Jessica Lucas as Lily, who's Jason's fiance. T.J. Miller.
Yeah.
This was really before T.J. Miller hit it big. The best thing I know him from is Deadpool, and then other stuff after that.
He never was the star of a movie.
No, he's very good supporting material.
And he was on a TV show. I can't remember the name of the TV show.
I don't know. Yeah. Michael Stahl David as Rob. Mike Vogel as Jason, Lily's fiance. Odette Yusman as Beth. And fun fact, she played Rain on Supergirl for a season.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then Jamie Harlan as Jamie Lascano. I always like how in these movies they always have somebody whose name's the same. But
that's gotta be the best thing when you go for a role and they're like, your character's name is Bob. Oh, my name's Bob. That's awesome.
What are the odds?
Yeah.
Or it's like an Avengers situation where you say Tom and everybody looks up, or Chris and everybody looks up. But or even better, Superman and Lois, the sons. Well, I forget which one, but one of them is actually named the other's character.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, like in real life. So we also have Ben Feldman appearing as Travis, Beth's party date. An actual New York One TV journalist, Roma Torre, who actually reports on the thing. That's funny. The film's director, Matt Reeves, provides the uncredited voice for two brief phases, one normal and one in reversed audio heard after the credits. Movie. Yeah. It's so alive. What a movie that hit a lot of different cliches all at once. Mm-hmm. But that's the main cast pretty much. And then you got some army guys. But do you want to talk about the monster?
Sure, you can talk about the monster.
So the monster, they wanted to go a very Jaws type route in which you don't see it. Yeah,
which is smart.
Very smart, especially considering it's a budget type thing.
Budget, and it's also adds to the scare factor. What you don't see is scarier than what you do see.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. So the name of the creature is affectionately called Clover. That's what the production company called him. They never mentioned the name. They never really give too much information about what kind of monster it is. But some of the viral marketing, including recording of its roar, 4 news clips about a monster attack, and sonar images. It's about 25 stories tall. That's a big guy. Little big guy. He doesn't appear in 10 Cloverfield Lane. Well, let's talk about that really quick. So this movie is an anthology series.
Yeah.
Very similar to, it's like the Monster Poor Man's version of the Cornetto trilogy. It's 3 separate movies, and they're not very connected. I think Cloverfield Paradox has some more allusions. I know the monster does appear at the very end.
Well, they're finally doing a direct sequel to this movie.
Finally. I wanted a direct sequel to this. I saw 10 Cloverfield Lane. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's
but it has nothing to do with
it
this.
It has nothing to do. It's an alien movie.
Yeah. And then the what is it? The
Cloverfield Paradox.
Paradox actually leads into this, or
supposedly.
All right, yeah.
I guess we'll see. But yeah. So the creature is apparently supposed to be a juvenile.
Yes.
And it's like they described it as like a spooked horse. It's an animal that's not attacking vindictively. It's just it got woken
up. It's scared and it's like freaking out.
It's like my cat.
Really?
Yeah. I got all these. This was from his tooth, just so you know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He's a vicious little monster. But you can see pictures of him on our Facebook or on Facebook and website. Yeah.
He's like the mascot of the network.
He's the podcat.
Oh, he's the podcat.
Podcat. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he does all the production behind the scenes stuff. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, he's just a handsome guy too.
There's no meows anywhere.
Oh no, he's very professional.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he's too busy biting me. But so the creature, some of the things I like about this creature is he's not a ripoff of other giant monsters.
No,
he doesn't look like Godzilla. He doesn't look like King Kong. I do enjoy his he's kind of quadrupedal. I really enjoyed the small arms but the big legs type thing.
It's sort of like a
crab. Yeah, they wanted to pick something that could conceivably exist. 75% of the ocean is unexplored.
Oh, absolutely.
There was this thing a few years ago, and this is part of what inspired it. It's called the bloop. The bloop was a noise that was made, that was picked up on a sonar, and it was too loud for any normal creature to make. There's speculation that it was just glaciers shattering or crashing into each other, because apparently glaciers do that.
Oh, yeah.
Who
you didn't
knew?
know that?
Yeah. Watch out.
You gotta watch out for them glaciers, man.
It's like the scene in Austin Powers with the steamroller.
Get out of the way.
But yeah, so it also has the sacks on its neck. I thought that was a cool little design feature. And it has little crabs.
Yeah, that was
those were scary.
Those were more creepier than the actual, monster itself, because they fall off the thing and they do most of the damage. I mean, they do a good amount of damage. Obviously, the big monster does, most of the huge damage. But those things, man, they tear you apart. I was like, oh, I thought that was a good extra bit, because it was just like, okay, if it was just the monster, you can dodge it, you can run away from it, but those things, they fall off and they chase you.
And that was the creepy scenes too,
yeah.
they're in the dark in the subways.
Yes.
Yeah, that was I liked it. But the events of the Cloverfield Paradox suggest that this thing might be from a different dimension, a different universe, very H.P. Lovecraft type stuff.
All right.
I'm okay with them not giving the exact I'm fine. That's a creature that was living in the ocean.
Well, that's what we all assume is basically what it was.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it at the end with the satellite and all that, because that's all part of the marketing too. But yeah, I have no problem with the creature design. I remember when we see him for the first time when he's roaring over them. It's like, oh, that's really cool. It was a fun moment. We're definitely gonna need a bigger boat, So yeah, that's the Monster Clover.
The monster.
So, yeah, you want to jump into the plot?
Oh, the plot. Let's do it. Alrighty then. So, basically, movie starts off with some nice little, government, what do you call it?
Timestamps and stuff like that.
So, this is
it's been this video that this
found.
movie that we're about to watch is now property of the U.S.
government. So, found footage. The footage was found, and the government now controls it and is probably watching it, finding out what the hell happened. So, cuts to older footage of Rob and Beth waking up in apparently her father's apartment in Columbus Circle, very early morning, as they are coming off spending the night together. And
for the first
time. So you gauge that they were really good friends, and they finally,
he finally got out of the friend zone.
He finally did get out of the friend zone.
Much like Ryan Reynolds with Amy Smart. That's another movie I would not say no to doing.
Oh, that was
we love that movie.
That was a fun movie.
Rom-com month.
So they have their, oh, I love you, yada yada yada,
So basically, the movie is intercut. It goes back and forth with footage of them from this one perfect day.
So it's because it's they recorded on this camera everything they did in this day.
Because back in that day, they used tape.
It's not digital?
Not digital.
No, okay. So cut to Rob is having a farewell party thrown for him by his brother Jason and Jason's girlfriend Lily, because Rob has gotten a new job in Japan, so he's leaving.
For Slusho.
Yes.
Which is also introduced in J.J. Abrams' Lost.
There you go. Their friend Hud has been given the job of basically recording everyone's farewell to him.
Testimonials.
Testimonials. So finally, we see Beth arrive at the party
with another man.
You don't know why.
Dun, dun, dun.
So Beth and Rob obviously argue over her guest, and she leaves shortly before a supposed earthquake occurs.
All right, so let's talk about who was at fault with this. Was it Rob that left her, and then she's still being a supportive friend but bringing a date as a buffer? Or is she a vindictive young lady who's now bringing a date to make him jealous because he's leaving her for Japan?
I'm not Dr. Phil, so... You know.
I was going more telenovela. We got to get way more dramatic.
There you go.
Yeah, I can't speak Spanish, but...
What do you think?
I just think it's a really awkward situation that
obviously.
Everybody's trying to make the best of. But Rob is kind of a...
Well, doesn't he like...
He pulls her outside and they have like a full-on argument.
Yeah.
And Hud's videotaping it.
It's that one friend that's just like, really?
Damn it, Ronnie.
Nah, Ronnie wouldn't do that.
We got all this brand new video equipment.
Oh, God.
All
right, so...
We also get introduced to Marlena. She's like a vague acquaintance.
I guess, because you really don't... Again, you don't really know much.
I don't think she even knows Rob.
They don't even delve into these characters. Obviously,
Rob and Hud were friends. Jason's his brother.
Yeah.
Lily's the girlfriend.
And there you go. And then apparently Hud has, feelings for Marlena, so obviously...
Eventually, yeah.
We see him, go up to her and ask her about, what he want to say to Rob. So we have the earthquake happen, causing a brief power outage throughout the whole city. Then it cuts to a local news reporter after the power comes back on that an oil tanker has capsized near Liberty Island.
Now, this movie's also a great product of its times, unfortunately, where like the first reaction, it's 2008, New York. Everybody's like, is it terrorist? Is it terrorist?
That's...
and like, see, that's why I like found footage, because it does add a sense of realism, even like to this very unrealistic situation. This movie has that nice sense of realism for the most part, even with the monster. Like, they aim to create a monster that would conceivably be some sort of sea monster. That's why it's crab-like. That's why it has the parasites. So, and that's why its skin is so dense, and that's why other things. I panicked.
I know you were going good there.
I know, and then there was a lot of pressure just now.
Well, that's what I do. I give pressure.
I'm very uncomfortable.
I know.
Get woke. It's 2021.
Okay.
I don't know what that meant. I'm sorry. I work with kids.
So, as you said, everybody's first intuition is that it's terrorism. And what do they decide to do? They're like, let's go up on the roof, because we can see what's going on. We can see the Statue of Liberty or
the oil
tanker from the roof. So they go up on the roof, and then boom, a big explosion occurs.
They all freak out,
and then they decide to leave the building. And as they're leaving the building, another explosion, and all of a sudden, the severed head of the Statue of Liberty is hurled, basically right in front of them.
And that was the teaser trailer.
And this is where the teaser trailer cut off, but as HUD is continuing to record, you vaguely see
the shape of
the monster, like one of his legs, going through or something.
At least we hope it was his leg.
Maybe. So
it's like Godzilla King of the Monsters.
And it's literally collapsing a building. Like you see the building collapse. So so they're all evacuating. The army has appeared mad quickly.
So in the viral stuff, they've been tracking this thing.
Okay, so
like there is talk of like sonar.
They knew something was coming.
It attacked other things. Like they knew that something was moving, and also the National Guard, in New York is not far fetched to see how quick they can mobilize. But going through, they make it to the Brooklyn Bridge because the city's evacuating.
Yes.
Now here's something to point out. There's a shot where because HUD still got the video camera, and I think at some point he mentions that he wants to document this, like this whole thing, because people need to know what happens, I think is his quote. But he locks eyes with another person filming. So when they were talking about the sequel, there was a lot of speculation that the sequel was going to be from that other person's perspective, which I thought would have been stupid. It's the same story.
Well, you don't know. You don't know what they went through. I mean, but yeah, I agree with you. It would have been running from the monster, and they would just created some BS, story for him to have gone through, or whoever was using the camera. But that's why I'm interested in what they're going to do for the sequel. Is it going to be like?
I hope it's not found footage. I don't think it will be.
Well, the other two, they weren't they weren't found footage. So you would think, is this going to be like a rescue? Like, are they going to see if the characters were lived?
I hope that's okay. They went through
Just
a lot.
Beth?
Rob's kind of a simp.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, the fact that they also pulled her off of she shouldn't be okay.
She should be alive. She probably should have been dead from blood loss.
Yeah, she should have.
Because that thing was, she was impaled.
Yep.
And
then she's running.
She's running, and there's no way she's alive. I'm sorry, but it is what it is.
But they found the camera, so that's.
They did find the camera. So as you said, they are evacuating, and they start to cross the Brooklyn Bridge, and then finally we get another glimpse of the monster.
I think it's his tail.
His tail, something again, just rises from the water and literally
crashes
right into, sadly, Jason, one of the lead character's brother,
the likable one.
I guess.
More
Basically, he's killed right in front of everybody, along with other people, obviously, because there were thousands
of
people.
Destroys the Lily.
Destroys the bridge. The bridge is collapsing. Literally, they are running for their lives because the bridge is literally collapsing into the river. So that was like your first, oh, okay, what is, where is this going to go from here? How are all these characters going to all be killed? Who knows?
Yeah.
So
that's also the best thing about having an unknown cast. Mm-hmm. Nobody's safe.
Oh no, I agree. Yeah. I totally agree. Now, by this time, was he had not reached to Beth, I don't believe.
No, not yet.
Because she obviously had left the party before everything had happened. So now, of course...
So they were just trying to leave the city.
They're just trying to leave the city. Now it's like he's like...
Well, before that, we see news footage of the army attacking the monster.
Yes.
And that's when we see the smaller parasites falling off of it.
Yeah, you're right. And it attacks a guy. Yeah, it attacks a random guy.
Like little rabid dogs.
Yeah.
But, that's when Rob listens to the phone message from Beth.
That's what it was. And she indicates that she's trapped in her apartment at the Time Warner Center and unable to move. So she's either just stuck in the apartment or she's already been impaled on the rebar.
She's probably been barred.
She's probably barred. I have a feeling, though, if she was barred already, she's got to be dead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's no way
she should be alive.
She cauterized her wound.
I'm sorry.
Sealed it around it.
I know I'm harping on it, but it's just the more I think about it, I'm like, there's no way she should be alive.
So, in a special announcement from Cinematic Adventures, if you're ever impaled by a rebar during a monster attack in New York City, don't pull it out.
No.
Safety tip from Cinematic Adventures.
There you go.
Yep.
Man. Thank you for that nice little info.
That's what I'm here for.
I know. Dr. Paul.
Should have done one of my voice effects. Yeah. We should have done this with the echo effects because, giant monster.
Ooh, good call.
Yeah. I'm really excited for Godzilla vs. Kong.
I'm not sure. You really haven't shown that much excitement for that movie.
We might even go, we might do a little video in the theater for all of our listeners. That'd be fun.
Look at you.
Yeah, I got all this. We just spent
you
money
did.
on camera.
You got all this technical stuff. You're going crazy.
I've been on YouTube a lot. You can also find us on YouTube, Misfit Faction Media Network.
There you go. So
shameless plug.
There's nothing wrong with a shameless plug.
It's our show.
I know. If you started plugging other things, I'd be like, what are you doing?
We have a lot of things to plug at this point. It's pretty cool, actually.
So, after he listens to the voice message, Rob has decided that he's going to go rescue Beth. So
he was so mean to her.
Going against the crowd because everybody is leaving the city. Rob's just like, no, we're gonna venture back into the city.
Nobody's cutting you off.
So first, everybody's like, Rob, you're crazy. What are you doing? He goes, I'm not changing my mind. You guys go. I'm not forcing you to come with me.
She did this great thing that I like during our one night. Yeah.
So they got to venture to Midtown Manhattan to rescue Beth.
Yeah.
So by 3:17 in the morning, they get caught in a battle between the creature and the Army National Guard.
This was when we get our first real shot.
Real shot of the creature. And
it's great.
It is a really cool scene, I have to
because the Army's firing at it, and it comes over the building, and you see its face, and it's roaring, and the explosions are hitting it, and it's like a second. Just really cool, and just a great little interaction,
yes.
Our first real glimpse of what we're dealing with.
Yes, and so due to this, they have to run into the subway, and then in the subway, they are attacked by several of the parasitic creatures that fall off the monster.
It's so great though because they have the camera with the longest battery life I've ever seen. Our camera lasted 35 minutes.
Did he charge that camera after his date with Beth? Or it's like, wait, hold on, baby, I gotta charge the camera because
just leave it.
A giant monster's gonna attack the city tomorrow.
Who knows?
We gotta make sure we're charged.
But
so fun fact, Paul, make sure that thing is charging every day because you never know.
We have 3 batteries for that camera just in case. But it is terrifying when they turn on the night vision and that's when you see it. You're like, oh no. Because humans have an innate fear of the dark. I don't care how brave you are. We just think we're tense too. Because I think it's a good thing they showed us those little parasites. Because if that had been the first time seeing them, we would have been like, wait, what
is that?
We wouldn't have also had that sense of dread.
True.
Yeah.
Because once you see that, you know that there's a possibility those things exist. You're like, okay. Because you're like, if you didn't know about those, you're like, okay, how are they going to get? What's the monster going to do to them down there? It's going to stomp. One thing would be it's like it caves in. That's about it. But once you see that there's little creatures that are roaming around, then you're like, oh, okay.
Okay.
There's a little more I got to worry about here. So, obviously, during the scuffle, Marlena is bitten by one of the creatures. So they, escape the subway and
they find a medical field hospital.
Command center and field hospital.
They do manage to beat up some of those little monster things.
They do.
Yeah, they
do. And then when you get to the field hospital, you see that they're like studying these. They want to study these things quickly to see what they can do. What they can do to kill them.
That's where COVID came from.
Wow.
Too soon? But so Marlena's eyes start bleeding, and she's like, I don't feel so good.
Yeah, and
they freak out because I guess they've obviously seen what happens when these parasites bite people.
Yeah, so like all the soldiers are like, get her away.
But they also know that there's nothing they can do.
Oh, there's nothing they can do. And I thought this because I remember seeing this for the first time in theaters, and I was just like, wow. And they pull her behind the curtain, and it's all in silhouette, and you're like, you just see her literally explode.
Yeah,
and I'm like, they just do that? Like, wow.
Now, every time they do silhouette, I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, I was just like, oh.
Like, I was watching The Spirit for the first time.
Yeah.
And Eva Mendes goes behind the little change room, and I'm like, I'm a hot-blooded American male who's happily married, but at the time, I was like, Eva Mendes, all right. And she showed, but then I was also afraid, I hope she doesn't explode. Like, that's my concern.
That was your thought. It's like, oh, Eva Mendes, don't explode.
Yeah, like, it's dangerous stuff
Don't explode. Okay. So, after Marlena explodes, Rob, who is continuing in his pursuit to save Beth, persuades one of the military leaders to let him go because they're telling everybody, we are evacuating the city. The last evacuation helicopter will depart before the military executes its hammer down protocol, as I do air quotes while I'm saying that.
This is why we're going to do video podcast.
Which basically is going to destroy Manhattan in attempt to kill the monster. They're going to literally nuke Manhattan to kill this thing.
Nuke the bastards.
There you go.
That's my second Independence Day reference.
Good one.
Thanks, man.
So they finally get to Beth's building, and what is... Of course,
it's sideways.
It's sideways because it's like a double building, and of course, the building she's in is the one that is literally tilted. And I just love the HUD's reaction. It's like, please tell me she's not in the one that's sideways. And of course, she's like, yeah, he is. So they climb up.
Right there.
They climb up the normal
she's
one.
She's just waving from the roof,
and they cross over. I mean I'm not a fan of heights.
I love heights.
So like, anytime there's like a scene involving heights, I get like, oh god, like I'm not in the movie, but yet I'm like freaking out.
Oh, your hands get all
you
clammy.
You ever see the movie The Walk, the one about the guy who walks?
Oh
across
yeah, with
the
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
That ending scene, man. He's fine. Nothing happens, but just
spoilers.
Like you just like, I'm like freaking out because
I prefer Walk Hard or Walk the Line because similar title but very different.
Very different. Very different.
Yeah.
Walk Hard. I hated that movie.
I know you hated it. I feel like you would. I feel like you'd like it more now.
I don't know.
Just going in knowing how satire it is.
No. I had no problem with the satire. I just thought it was stupid.
You know what I'm really excited for? Sidebar, and Sean doesn't know I'm about to mention this.
Oh God, here we go.
During Tough Mudder season this year, I'm bringing the camera so we can actually put videos from Tough Mudder on the website.
That's fine.
All the height videos. All the videos of Sean freaking out. You do fine with heights at Tough Mudder, though.
Because those are not like, crazy heights.
King of Swingers. That was a good
I
one.
do miss. Well, I wonder if they're going to come up with a new one this year.
Who knows?
Just give me what was the one before King of Swingers? Where you just jump off. I was fine with that.
Walk the plank.
Walk the plank.
Something like that.
Yeah. I don't mind that. That doesn't bother me.
But let's keep going.
Oh, let's keep going.
It's almost dinner time.
Is it?
That's like 6 o'clock our time.
Nice. So they finally find Beth, as we have said, impaled on rebar.
Thank God only a third of her apartment was destroyed.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
and she's like right up against like the wall, like where the window's been blown out.
Yeah, like if that monster had like an itch on his shoulder at the time, she would have been dead.
Yeah,
because he would have just been like, "Oh no!" Lifted up his arm, the whole building falls over.
So they rescue her. They make their way to the evacuation.
Not the evacuation.
Evacuation site at Grand Central
They're
Terminal.
right next to each other. It's the evacuation and then the evacuation.
It's like, don't go to the evacuation site.
It's like the Walmart and the Target for, evacuation. Too soon? Too much? Not enough? I don't know.
Okay. Well, they encounter the creature again because, you can't escape the creature.
Because he's actually following them. He's like,
oh, yeah.
They have a camera.
They have a camera, and they're like, you idiots, you came back into the city. Now I'm just going to screw with you because, I know you guys.
You deserve this.
You're recording me. I don't want to be recorded. I did not give you my consent.
I didn't sign the waiver.
Yeah. No, not at all. So he's pissed. So
we do get a great shot though. So Lily manages to escape in a different helicopter.
They get split up into two different helicopters. Lily, of course, makes it her helicopter. You see it, fly off into safety. And so Rob, Beth, and Hud are taken away in a stuck-in helicopter and literally witness the creature being bombed as they're flying away.
Great shot.
Yep.
But then out of the smoke, he's like, "Hey."
It's like, nah, toy. I want to play with this helicopter.
You ever notice that? With the exception of Kong Skull Island, everybody knows to attack a helicopter from not the bladed parts.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, but like Kong, actually, I think he gets cut by one.
Oh yeah, you see him after the first. He's like, well, he doesn't know. He's like,
I know, but that's what makes it funny because like this monster's like, I'm gonna eat just the bottom.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna tap it. Just give it a little love tap.
Just tap it in.
Just tap a Rooney.
So the creature lunges. Well, the bombing causes the creature to fall, so you think, oh, we're safe.
Oh, you know what we forgot to mention?
What we forgot to mention?
The little parasites were in Beth's building also.
Oh, that's right.
They use the fire extinguisher or something.
Right.
Or a fire axe or something like that. Yeah, that's the only time Rob kind of manned up. They do manage, and they also managed to pull her off the rebar. That's pretty impressive.
They do.
I'm so glad the way they shot that scene when he puts the camera down so it's not facing her. Mm-hmm. But you're just hearing it. And sometimes that's just like
enough. Yeah.
Just like the Marlena silhouette. And I'm sure that was also a budgetary thing. Like we can't afford
to actually blow her up.
And also actually show the prosthetics and the collapsible pieces. So I think some of these scenes were shot beautifully.
Yes, I will not deny. I thought this movie was well done in terms of what they showed and what they didn't show.
It makes me really excited for Matt Reeves as Batman.
True.
Very true, right?
Yeah.
I would have liked to see him do Superman too.
That would have been interesting.
Or who did I really want to see do Superman? The guy who did Kick-Ass.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, Kick-Ass or Kingsman. All good choices.
There was plenty of options that could have done, comic book movies. I mean, again, that's where you're finding some of these good, filmmakers are doing,
I want Edgar Wright to do another comic book movie.
That would be nice.
He's got to find one that matches. That's why I love Scott Pilgrim.
Well, I like Scott Pilgrim, and then obviously he was going to do Ant-Man, right?
Yeah, that was a big thing.
He didn't.
He fought with Marvel.
He's fought with Marvel, so.
Yeah.
Well, so Marvel's not perfect, man. They fight, if they don't get their way, and
I hear Rob running to the door.
Really?
Oh yeah. Marvel is so good.
Okay,
yeah.
let's calm down.
All right.
DC's not great in any stretch either, but
it's so weird.
But Marvel's not perfect.
We're still talking about movies, so this is fine. But like, it's so weird right now.
We're talking about comic book movies. We can't do this here.
You get out of here.
You're the one that said it.
I co-host. It's fine. I can be the bridge that unites our podcasts. But it's funny because Marvel and DC are in such a nice little like flux right now.
Oh,
like where DC used to kill it on TV and Marvel killed it in the movies, and now they flipped.
Well, yeah, because Marvel's now like,
we
got this streaming platform.
Oh, the Suicide Squad trailer came out today.
I did see that. I like the poster. Very 70s, really cool. Very 70s, Dirty Dozen.
It screams James Gunn.
Oh yeah, it's a R-rated Guardians of the Galaxy. That's what I'm. I am.
Sylvester Stallone's the shark.
That's really? That was him?
You know that? Sylvester Stallone?
I did not know that.
Hand.
I did not know that. Idris Elba looks great.
Yeah.
I just think the casting looks a whole lot better in this movie.
They embrace the colors a little bit better.
I don't want to get so off topic. I liked Suicide Squad
for
what it was. I just wasn't big on Will Smith being cast as Deadshot. I just thought there could have been a lot better people to play that character.
I thought he was one of the better aspects of
it. I thought he was good, but when I remember when they first announced that he was playing Deadshot, I was like, really?
Yeah.
But he pulled it off. But I thought they could have found.
I
thought when they cast Idris Elba in this movie, I was like, oh, he's
recast,
Deadshot.
Yeah.
I was like,
but a lot of people did. But he's Bloodsport.
But then you got him. You got what's his name? Joel Kinnaman coming back.
Which I'm actually kind of excited for.
John Cena. He looks like he's going to be the laughing stock.
Well, he's getting his own show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on HBO Max.
God.
Yeah. But anyway, circling back.
So
the monster attacks the helicopter and they go
crashes
down.
in Central Park.
And of course, HUD's, they all survive except for every military personnel.
Of course. The pilots and any soldier.
And Beth with a hole in her leg or whatever she had. But then they all get out.
They all get out, but then you hear on the radio of the helicopter that the hammer down protocol will begin in 15 minutes. So that gives you your
sense of urgency.
Pretty much.
So, of course, though,
they regain consciousness and they start to flee.
But of course, dumb HUD's like, oh,
the camera.
How did that thing sneak up on them? That's just like when Godzilla sneaks up or King Kong sneaks up on people. Like,
well, they were unconscious.
And even better, though, he runs to the camera and they're talking to him for a second, and it's like takes a couple of seconds for them to be like, oh my god. And then we get our fourth jump scare of the movie.
Yeah, when it
lunges
at him and just pretty much.
So we get our best shot.
It doesn't eat him, but I'm assuming it probably eats half of them maybe, or I don't know. You don't see it, but
yeah. Well, nowadays with T.J. Miller, probably eat the whole thing.
Probably.
Yeah, but we do get our best shot at the monster in all of its glory, and I do enjoy his design for what it is. But So
HUD is dead, and then Rob and Beth grab the camera. But okay, they got the camera, and they take shelter under
maybe
an arch.
The monster was just after T.J. Miller.
Maybe. Yeah, and then you start to hear the sirens blare, which is the ultimate warning that it's going to happen any minute now. So they provide their last testimony of the day's events. The bridge crumbles. The camera's knocked out of Rob's hand. They're buried beneath the rubble. They proclaim their love for each other just before another bomb explodes, with both screaming while the monster roars. So the film ends where it cuts back to Rob and Beth's trip to Coney Island.
I'm about to get triggered.
Really?
All right, so a little discussion about this last scene. So the last scene is them on Coney Island.
Yes.
And the camera is facing the water. Now,
who's holding the camera?
Who cares? It's Beth and Rob. Who cares?
Okay.
I think it's Rob. Rob's holding the camera. And I was informed that if you pay attention, there is a small object that falls from the sky and lands in the ocean.
Yes.
I saw the movie the first time.
Couldn't see it.
I didn't see the damn thing.
Then you brought me the second time.
Because I didn't know. And then it was brought up to me. And I was like, oh, you and I were going to go see it? And I was
you told me about it.
I was like, Sean, fun fact about this movie. You keep an eye open, you're going to see a little thing.
Yeah.
Watch the movie. Get the whole thing. I didn't even go to the bathroom. I'm sitting there with my popcorn and my water, just so happy. And I'm like, all right, check this out. Then the movie ends, and I'm like, wait, I didn't see it. And much like Willem in Mallrats, you can listen to that episode if you go through our archives. I didn't see the sailboat.
No, I did, though.
It's a schooner.
I was like, oh, there it is. And you're like, where? Yeah. Where was it? I didn't see it.
You know how many times I had to watch that movie afterwards?
Even when I just watched it the other day, I was like looking and I'm like, I'm waiting. And then, oh, there it is. Okay. And I see it splash down in the water. And I'm like, okay. Because at first I was like, I'm not seeing it. Where is it? And I'm like, oh, there it is.
You gotta know where it is. You gotta believe that it's there.
So you see that and you assume that is what falls into the ocean and wakes the creature
So
up.
I'll extrapolate on that after we're done.
Good word.
Yeah, thank you.
So after the credits, a voice can be heard saying, help us. However, when you play it in reverse, which I don't know why you would, but okay.
It's a term called backmasking.
Oh, okay. It says, it's still alive.
Backmasking also for the Paul is dead urban legend.
Mm.
Yeah. Wait, I am?
Yes.
Paul McCarthy. But,
did you say Paul McCarthy? I think you just said Paul McCarthy.
McCartney.
No, McCartney.
I'm sorry. I'm tired.
It's 6 o'clock.
I had a long day, man. You went home and took a nap. Don't even lie. You did. I know it. But, yeah. So apparently in the viral marketing, it's mentioned that a satellite falls into the ocean. And it's presumed that that's what wakes up this creature. So that's what you're seeing. But then in the Cloverfield paradox, it ends with two of the characters Daniel Bruhl and whoever else. This is mild spoilers. I never actually saw it because
it's fine.
But they are coming back to Earth from the space station in like one of those shuttle drops, and then the monster appears. So then there's speculation that was actually them dropping down. Because apparently Cloverfield Paradox involves alternate Earths and this, that,
So
and
they're
the other
saying
thing.
that was a spaceship that was crashing?
It was the space shuttle that they were in.
That was too small for a space shuttle.
No, it's not a space shuttle. It's just like a capsule, like one of those like almost like triangular capsules.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
All right, interesting.
But yeah, so that is Cloverfield. Cloverfield? Clovarian? I don't know.
Keep trying. You'll get it.
But yeah, I really do. I enjoy this movie.
It's not bad. I don't.
If it's on, I'll watch it.
I literally seeing it when just the other day. It's the first time I saw it since I was on theaters. It's not a movie I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch this multiple times over the next couple of years. Nah, never really just didn't do it for me. But I I see the appeal. The movie was a huge financial success.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was a $25 million budget. It ended up making $175 million. So, damn, that's really good. Surprisingly, though, it took 8 years to do a sequel, and it wasn't even really a sequel. As we've said, it's part of an anthology series, so they just used the name, and it's totally different stories. So I'm surprised that they didn't like. I'm surprised, but I'm impressed that they didn't just be like, okay, you're doing another one right now. We don't care what the story is. Just call it Cloverfield 2, and that'll make us another, $150 million. And
yeah, I mean,
I don't know whose call that was. I don't know if the studio approached J.J. Abrams and was like, we really want another one, and he was just like, nah, this is a standalone. We want to let this movie live on by itself. But they've announced that they are actually going to be doing a direct sequel to this movie eventually. So interested to see where that goes, what the plot's going to be about, obviously. Is it going to be directly after the events of this film? Is it going to be years later? Like, is New York become, an Escape from New York type of, crazy, place?
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe more of these monsters or
too.
Reasoning or, they could do a lot with it. Again, maybe we don't need an explanation.
That's fine. I'm just, if you're going to make a direct sequel, you would think it has something to do with this movie. So again, what is it going to be?
Maybe he'll fight the winner of Godzilla vs. Kong.
Please no.
But let's talk about some of the viral marketing, because they've done marketing for all of these movies very differently.
Yeah.
Here's a fun one that I just found out about.
Okay.
All the characters
you read it exactly.
had MySpace pages.
What was MySpace?
MySpace is still around.
Really?
Yeah, now it's used for people to promote their bands.
Okay. Nice.
So
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Hey, that's smart.
Yeah.
I mean, keep it alive.
Tom's making money. But apparently all the characters last logged on to them on January 18th, 2008.
That's funny.
That is the day the movie came out. See, I like things like that. Doing marketing is an interesting tactic. Like, I've been learning a little bit about marketing doing all this podcasting stuff, and it's hard. It's not easy.
No.
Nowadays it's a lot of hashtags and Twitter and this and that. I really enjoy some creative marketing. Dark Knight did it too, with the Joker cards that were going around, stuff like that. I like stuff like that. But or even better, when Cloverfield Paradox came out, they just did a teaser during the Super Bowl, and it's like, guess what's happening after the Super Bowl? This movie's being released on Netflix. Nobody even knew it was happening.
Yeah.
And you got Daniel Bruhl, who was like, this is like his hot streak at the time too.
What's he from?
Oh wow, The Alienist and Captain America: Civil War.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was the bad guy, and now he's on Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Okay.
As Baron Zemo, or Helmet Zemo, excuse me. But yeah, this movie did so many cool things, and even like the ending credits thing, where somebody had to rewind it. Like, somebody had to be like, that sounds weird, because especially now, you can't rewind with sound. Like, that's interesting. Oh, I didn't know this. On HUD's MySpace page, his height went from 6'2" to 2'6" due to him being bitten in half by the monster. Oh wow.
That's funny. That's funny.
After viewing a cut of the film, Steven Spielberg suggested giving the audience a hint to the fate of the monster during the climax, and that's why they added the broadcast overheard on the military radio. Ah, look at that. J.J. Abrams came up with the film's last line, "I had a good day."
Mm-hmm.
The Cloverfield monster has 2 minutes and 37 seconds of screen time. That sounds like my my adult tape. Too much? We're still family friendly, don't worry. So the only character that we know doesn't die is Lily, or her fate's mostly unknown.
It's everyone's fate's unknown, but
well, HUD and Marlena, they die.
Well,
and
I'm
Jason,
sorry, the Rob and Beth. I meant of the characters that you don't know. Like Rob and Beth, you don't know. You assume they're dead, but you don't know, or you assume they die eventually. But yeah,
yeah. I would, if they're gonna bring characters back, I think bringing back Rob and Beth would be their best idea. But again, this is a movie. This is a franchise that for the sequel they don't necessarily need to bring anyone.
No, I
back.
absolutely agree with you. I'm just again I'm. It's not even about bringing the characters back. I could care less if the characters come back. It's more, where are you? I'm just more interested on where you're going to start this movie out. Is it going to be literally right after the events of the first one? Is it going to be years have passed and this creature has, who knows? Another creature has awoken. Who knows? Like, is there going to be more than one? Is there going to be more than one creature? Is the creature going to like go into some sort of hibernation or whatever? And like, New York is going to be totally uninhabitable.
Yeah,
I'm more interested in the effects of what had happened than more just seeing what happened to Beth and Rob. I don't really care about Beth and Rob, but
yeah, Rob's a jerk. So mean to her, and then I'm going to save you. Yeah, but
now you would have been more jerk if you just let her die. I mean,
right. There's no
no win there. Walked in there, sir, on the rebar, going like, Well, about that, you didn't really specify in the message that.
No, it would have been a baller move if you walked in. Why don't you get your date to help you and then just close the door? Savage puts on sunglasses, walks away. Yeah. And he just looks at HUD directly in the camera. Worth it. Just keeps going. Baller move. Oh man.
So that is our discussion on Cloverfield. Any final thoughts, Paul? Like, I mean,
I am really excited to see where the franchise goes. If this sequel connects to the other two movies, I definitely think when Cloverfield, whatever, I don't even think they titled it yet. They just said a sequel.
No, they just said direct sequel. So
whenever that comes out, maybe we'll tackle the other two movies in the franchise.
Maybe.
Again, it's a fun movie. It is exactly what I expect. Well, scratch that. I had no expectations going in.
Nobody had it. You really had no clue what it was.
Even any trailers really didn't show what was happening.
I don't know if you agree with me. I mean, I was pretty confident it was going to be a monster movie. Like that was the key. That was, to me, was, in my opinion, was obvious. I was like, okay, it's going to be it's a creature movie. Like, we just don't know what the creature is. We don't know.
Well, I thought it was Goldar, and that the Megazord was going to come through and be like, "Yo."
Are we talking about 90s Goldar? Are we talking that crap Goldar from the remake?
Well, as long as Rita Repulsa gets smacked into space, I'm fine.
There you go.
That was an awesome move.
Yeah.
Did you just slap her? Yeah, I did. Weird, right? Yeah. What about you? What did you think?
Looking back, I wasn't too blown away by it when we first saw it. As I told you when I got here earlier, I have a weird recollection with this movie. The night we went to go see it in theaters was the night that Heath Ledger passed away. So I don't know if that added to just my mood of seeing this movie. I was just probably in a bum mood because that was really crappy news. So I don't know if that led to me just not liking the movie as much. But as I said, I have not seen it since we saw it in theaters. So I watched it the other day, and again, I was like, okay, this isn't bad by any stretch. I'm not I'm enjoying it. It's well done. So I'm I'd be interested. I'm interested if they do have the sequel go through. I'm interested in where it goes because I'm that type of stuff interests me. I want to see, like I said, where they take it. Because I'm not seeing the other if you really consider them sequels, I don't think you really can. But
just maybe the last one, but that's only for because mild tie-in at the very end.
But I mean, again, we're that's where I'm like, you always, whenever they do something like that, and then they come out, we're gonna make a direct sequel. I'm like, well, you just did that.
I'm so confused.
At the end of the third one, so are you gonna totally ignore that? That's just, to me, it's always tough when you do something like that because you have no idea what the intentions are coming later in.
And also, the everlasting problem with sequels is waiting too long.
And that seems to be the big thing now, is he's making these sequels years and years later.
Well, you know why I think that is? Because, years and years ago, you would see a movie on VHS or something like that, and once you had the movie, like nobody could track how the movie was doing.
You could track it by
just once its sales were done. That was that.
You're talking about when it's in theaters, or you're talking about when it's on like VHS?
VHS.
Okay.
So like once VHS tapes were sold, and that's that.
But they track the sales of that, and they can see that.
But nowadays we're in this level of streaming and easy accessibility. I mean, I hate to keep bringing it up, but look at the Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut had more downloads in its initial weekend than Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like that's.
Well,
now it's trending worldwide still, and it's been over a week. You know, like I hate to say it, but because I know Sean's rolling his eyes so hard, but like this is a different time for how movies are successful is calculated very different. Look at TV shows. Mm-hmm. TV shows were getting canceled because their cable ratings, like their initial viewing ratings, were low, but they weren't taken into effect. Streaming on demand, Netflix.
Well, they also they weren't taking into effect DVR.
That's what I'm talking about.
That DVR was the killer because they were like, well, nobody's watching the show. It's like, yeah, they're watching it. They're just watching it 2 days later.
Yeah, the Nielsen ratings have just finally started catching up to that sort of thing.
And now again, you get these streaming services. You have obviously like the Netflix, the Amazon, Hulu, and then you have each network has their own. NBC has Peacock, CBS has Paramount Plus. They have shows that are strictly on these streaming services, or you can watch the shows that are on, cable TV on those. So they finally, and then on demand and all that stuff. So, I mean, they're finally catching up to having so many different ways to watch these TV shows to track the numbers. Again, I mean, movie theaters, hey, I hope they continue. They're just starting to really open back up. I know, we're obviously in New York. Connecticut is at full capacity. New York, I don't know.
We don't need to talk about New York's status and all this.
But whatever. So now the key is for the studios to start releasing the movies back into movie theaters.
Yeah.
So obviously we got Godzilla vs. Kong. There's another one coming out. Mortal Kombat is coming out.
I'll do an episode
Black
on that.
Widow. So we're starting to see movies finally. Disney Plus is doing Black Widow as well,
which is funny because they fought against it. They were like, "We're never gonna do it. We're never gonna do it. We're never gonna do it."
I think people need to calm down because it's like people are freaking out about the price. I'm just like, okay, explain to me what the problem is. And they're like, well, it's $30. I said, okay, how much would it be if you went to the movie theater? It'd be the same amount of money, probably even more, because you're gonna be paying for food.
Oh, I love paying for food.
So I don't want to hear you complaining. Like, if you want to see it in theaters, go see it in theaters. But they're giving you the option, if you're not comfortable to go to a movie theater, you can see it at home.
But like people expect it to be catered to nowadays. That's
because they're seeing what HBO Max did with you'd be able to watch Wonder Woman free. I mean, obviously you have to pay for the service, but you're able to watch Wonder Woman for free. I'm like, well, sorry,
that's
world's not all
But also, like, you look at it, like Disney has so much staying power. HBO Max is the
HBO Max is fine.
HBO Max is totally fine.
It's Warner Brothers,
but like they streaming is so saturated right now. Look at streaming. I mean, first it was just Netflix.
Well, yeah.
I remember when I had Hulu and it didn't even have ads, and you didn't need an account.
Well, there you go. Fun fact, I don't know if you've watched it yet on Netflix, the documentary on the last Blockbuster. Highly recommend it.
I gotta watch it.
Highly recommend it.
It's good.
Because obviously we all thought, everybody goes like, if someone walked up, he goes, why did Blockbuster fail? Your first intuition is like, well, Netflix. No, it's not. It's not because of Netflix.
And even better, Netflix tried to sell itself to Blockbuster.
Netflix literally went to them and was like, buy us.
Buy us.
Buy us. And Blockbuster was like, nah,
we don't need you.
But I forgot Blockbuster did the whole mail DVD thing.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. But they were going to succeed. They just, when the economy just tanks.
Yeah. People have to cut out what they have to cut out.
Yeah. So it's interesting. It was a very good documentary. I highly recommend it. Gives you a good insight, and I also had flashbacks to working at a video store while watching that. So it was,
And I had flashbacks to hanging out at the video store doing nothing.
I know. I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Yeah. I would just hang out and just chat with people.
Yeah, that's right.
I was definitely the
mascot of Hollywood.
The Randall to your Dante.
That's
except
true.
you worked in the video store.
That's true.
But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps us up.
So how can everybody get in touch with us, Paul?
Well, hopefully physically. Too much?
No.
All right.
I'm good.
When you take your hand off my thigh, I'll continue talking.
I got long hands.
You do, yeah. You got those long arms across the entire table. But so like Sean said at the beginning of the show, if you guys want to take us on the go, you can find us on Podbean, Stitcher, We're still working on Pandora. We got Apple Podcasts,
Gotta talk to
Spotify.
James Cameron.
What was that?
Got to talk to James
No,
Cameron.
get out of here. And iHeartRadio, too. Totally forgot about that one.
iHeartRadio.
But you can also find our website, themisfitfaction.com. You can find us on Facebook, Cinematic Adventures, and we also have a Facebook for the Misfit Faction Media Network. You can find our YouTube, which is the Misfit Faction Media Network, and our Twitter handle is just Misfit Faction. All of our episodes get put directly on all those sources. So the more you guys like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends,
please.
The better it is for us. We're really we enjoy what we do, so we want to share with
fun.
Yeah, we want to share with as many people.
Succeed at this. We want to keep going. So the more we get you guys to like it, the more people can hear it, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. So if you guys can sign up for Podbean, it's a free account, and you can literally subscribe to us. So anytime you'll get our most direct episodes.
Anytime, anywhere.
Because we are also working on some other projects, including more stuff on our YouTube channel. Some video podcasts are down the road. Some subscriber exclusives when we get to the point. So no, Sean's like, wow, look at us. But
Paul's got dreams. I love it.
Paul's got plans, and also producer Ronnie, who's been doing most of the technical work.
And Ronnie has a lot of things in front of his name.
Ronnie does.
It's either producer Ronnie, Pastor Ronnie,
Dr. Ronnie,
Dr. Ronnie, he's everywhere.
He's everywhere. He's got his hand in everything.
Oh, that's a scary thought.
But yeah, that's that.
That is that. Well, we are looking forward, obviously, to Godzilla vs. Kong for our next episode. So as we said earlier, we are going to release, obviously, this episode will be released on its normal time. We're going to have a special release for Godzilla vs. Kong, and then we will go right into our Mel Brooks month. So you're going to have literally episodes a couple days apart, which it's fine for us, fine for you guys. I think you'll enjoy. And looking forward to that. So, as always, I am Sean.
And I am Paul.
And everybody out there, have a good rest of your day.
Or don't. We're not your boss.
Okay. It's beautiful out. It's spring. Go enjoy the outside.
Or not. We're not your boss.
Okay.
Bye.
Adios.